So, over the past, I'd say, year, I've caught on to the idea, and not that I haven't always kind of known it, but really started putting it into play, into practice, that you become better by doing hard things frequently, by having discipline and repeating the same things that are maybe not enjoyable, but that overall add value to your life or to your mindset. Um, Doing stuff that sucks, doing hard things, doing difficult things on a regular basis, I think makes you a stronger, more capable, um, more imaginative, more thoughtful human being. And you can navigate life a lot better when you're in that mind space. Um, so I'll just touch on two things that I started doing about a year ago that have really, you don't really notice it at first, except for the sad fact that it sucks, but it eventually becomes a part of your life and routine, and you're all the better for it. I mean, you have to pick something that is a positive, forward moving thing, not something that detracts from your life. Um, so last year I decided to start running, and running. I've always hated running. I've always been into fitness. I ran back when I was in my late teens. I wasn't, I didn't run track or anything like that. Um, but towards the end of high school, I was really overweight. And one of the ways that I, burned enough calories to lose the extra body fat was running. And I was only running, a mile or two every day. And I was lifting weights and things like that too. That's when I really seriously got into and practice the practice of, you know, regular fitness. And um, so I had never really been a runner before. Um, and I started running. This is when I was like 16, 17. Lost the weight. And basically, once I lost the weight, which was about 70 to 80 pounds overall, I did it in probably 4 months or something like that, 5 months. And really, after I lost the weight, I kind of stopped with the cardiovascular stuff. I continued lifting weights. My goal was to gain muscle and stuff like that. So I stopped doing. I stopped running because honestly, I didn't like running. I did like, however, I like the after effects of running. I like that runner's high. I like that feeling you get of accomplishment when you run for a long period of time, and then And back then, a mile or two was a long period of time. So I decided last year, around this time, maybe a little earlier than this, maybe March or something like that. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start running because I know how much I hate it, and I was starting to realize one big thing was I read David Goggins' book about hardening the mind and doing something that sucks, basically, and I wanted to put that into play, into practice, and so I'm like, that's it. Tomorrow morning, I'm running, and I've made these promises to myself in the past, but you might do it for a minute or two, or not at all. Come up with an excuse why you can't do it. Well, I was done with excuses, so I went, and I remember it was like sub 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it was freezing cold. My first run, and I ran maybe a quarter of a mile before my lungs were burning, my feet were frozen. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Destroyed me, and that proved to me all the more that this is something I need to do. You know, if nothing else, it provides something to look back on and say, I did that, even though it really sucked. And when you are facing something present day and you have things to look back on that you did in spite of it being really hard, you're much more able to accomplish things that you want to accomplish now. You have that to look back on to say, hey, if I can do that, if I can do that thing, I can definitely do this thing, right? Um, so that was something that I did. I started running, and like I said, it started off. God, I got quarter of a mile every day, half a mile every day. Eventually, I remember, first time I ran a mile in like what 20 years. I should say I'm 35 right now, so yeah, around 20 years, 16 years, something like that. First time running more than a mile. But running a mile was a huge deal. I'm like, oh, I fucking made it a mile. Then, that turned into 2 miles. I remember when I ran 3.11 miles, which is a 5K. I was so proud of myself, for completing that. It's 3 miles, over 3 miles straight without stopping. It was a huge deal. And eventually that turned into 4 miles, and 5 miles, and 7 miles, and 9 miles. And then I got to the point this spring, for the first time, where I was hitting 10 miles. The 10-mile mark. An unbelievable thing a year ago. 10 miles without stopping. Then I hit 11. Then I hit 12. Then I hit 14. I hit 13.1. That's the half marathon. When I hit that 13.1, I said, I can run a fucking marathon. I can run 26 miles. It may suck. It may be the worst thing I've ever been through, but I can do it. And I know because I've run this, half marathon. If I can do that, I can get to the point where I can run a marathon. And I'll make another video about that process, because I recently ran that marathon. And I'll make another video about that process here soon, probably my next video. But this video is about, having discipline and following through with the same, maybe repetitive, maybe sucky, really hard things, or maybe not even super hard, but just annoying things, but that that you should do. So another thing that I did is I started making my bed, and I remember I heard it was like a Navy admiral or something who was giving a college speech, and he was talking about ways to improve discipline. And one thing he said was, make your bed every day, right? And I'm like, okay, I get it, all right. But, I probably saw that video 2 years ago. But it stuck with me. It stuck with me, like, just these little things, these little seemingly mundane things. I never made my fucking bed, ever. But I decided, about a year ago, about the same time I was doing this. And see, that's another thing about doing this. Once you do something consistently, then you want to add stuff. You build upon it. Just naturally. Your mind starts thinking that way. Like, what else can I do to put things in order, here? And so that's what I did. I started making my bed every day. And I make my bed every fucking day. When I get up, before I do anything, I don't go do other shit and then come back and make my bed. I get up immediately, groggy, tired, achy from running 10 miles, whatever. I make my bed. It's not perfect. It's not beautiful. It's not military grade. I can't bounce a quarter off of it. But I put shit in order. I make sure that the bed is ready to get into the next night for my wife, and then eventually for me. And I feel good about that. I feel good about that. May not mean anything to anyone else. But to me, it's like, I do that every day. Now I'm a consistent bed maker. And a guy who can run a marathon. And I wasn't that a year ago. So, like I said, you're always looking for other things to do, consistency to improve upon yourself or your work or creativity, whatever. And so right now, I have a problem. I have I don't know what you call it. I've had a YouTube channel for years, right? And I would be consistent for a little while, and then not consistent for a long while. And then consistent for a little while, and not consistent. And then I make a video here, make a video there, whatever. And my goal was, at one point was like to put out so many videos per year. I tried different things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to reach 1,000 subscribers, right? That was my goal. And then I started going, maybe I shouldn't base it on what others do. Maybe I should base it on what I do. So I'll make a goal to make a certain amount of videos per year, right? Nah, that fell apart really quick. I think what I'm going to do, my goal right now is going to be because I want to be consistent with this, but I just never have been. Much like making my bed, much like cardiovascular fitness, whatever. My goal now is to be consistent about making videos. And one way I can think to do that is make it a habit. And so my idea is to now, starting today, I'm going to make a video, no matter what it's about, because that's always a thing that's in my mind. It's like, I don't really have anything I want to talk about today. I don't really have, you know, because this channel has changed a lot. There's been fitness vlogs, there's been daily vlogs showing my life, there's been nutrition stuff, there's been motivational stuff, there's been spiritual stuff, and top 10 lists, and blah, blah, blah. And then it evolved into doing movie reviews, and I'm like, since I do all this shit anyway, why do I have to, like, it shouldn't be hard to think about what to talk about, because I can talk about anything on here. It's my fucking channels, you know? So, I think what I'm going to do is just make a daily video, no matter what it is, no matter what the subject is. I'm going to record a video every single day. So that's my goal. I'm announcing it here, and hopefully I'll follow through with this, and it'll be like making my bed or running a marathon. So stick with me. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and do something. Change something about your life, whatever it is. Pick something that you want to do every day or very frequently, and just start doing it. Just start doing it. It's going to suck. It's going to suck really bad for a little while, especially if it's a physical endeavor. It's going to suck. But stick with it, because, like I said, a year ago, I was not a marathon runner. A year ago, I was not a bed maker. And right now, I feel great. I physically feel fantastic. So, pick something, be consistent, and just keep fucking doing it. And if you miss a day, don't worry about it. Just do it the next day. Keep doing it. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. See you tomorrow in the next video.